What's going on, guys? Welcome to February's episode of Plus Club, the show where we play the games offered on PlayStation Plus throughout the month, and at the end of the month, we talk about them. My name's Seth, and joining me today is Sarah to my left, to your right, and Chevy up in the box. Hopefully, you guys are doing good, and hopefully, you guys have plenty to say about the games we played in February, which were UFC 4, Planet Coaster Console Edition, and Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. But before we talk about those, we got to talk about the games that are coming out in March, and those are Ghost Runner, Ark Survival Evolved, Team Sonic Racing. It's cut off, so I had to guess, but that's what I remember it being. And the bonus game is Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which is the multiplayer portion of Ghost of Tsushima. What are we feeling about those games in March?
Anybody? Which one is Ghost Runner?
Ghost Runner, I think it's that game where you run in like a cyberpunk world and you like try and survive, and it's kind of a shooter, but it's more so like high skill, like dodging and stuff. Because I think if you get hit once, you die. But there's also another game with a similar name that I might be thinking of.
Okay, I mean that's the PS5 game, I believe. So
yeah, maybe.
I will be. I mean, I'm curious to try it. Mostly just because I don't know anything about it. So it usually ends up being kind of a good thing for me because there's no expectations going into it.
Yeah,
I've had Ark on the brain for like a month now, so that'll be kind of nice. Except for I have a feeling similar to when we played Conan, multiplayer is going to be restricted to like a radius of the host.
Yeah, probably. So, the last time I played Ark on console was when it first came out on Xbox, and it was horrendous. So hopefully it's come a long way.
Yeah, and then Sonic's going to be. Honestly, I probably can expect what I'll have to say about that. So we'll see if I'm surprised by that one. And then the Ghost of Tsushima one's interesting. I'm glad it's a bonus game and not one of the main games because it's a feature and not a game. So, but it's fun. So.
Yeah. Yes, spoiler alert. We already played it, so we've talked about it before on the show.
I'm actually very, very excited that now we are forced to play it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had a lot of fun playing with you guys.
We only did the first of the 3 parts of the raid as well. And there's new content.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts on the games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to try Ghost Runner. I think it's been on my Steam wishlist for a long time, but I just haven't been interested enough to buy it. I've actually never played Ark, and I have wanted to for a really long time, but I want to play with people, and you guys have already played it, so. I didn't really have anybody to experience it with, but I bought it. I have it, so I'm interested to try it on console, although I honestly would rather play on PC.
Yeah, same.
Sonic Racing, is racing. I like Sonic, so there's that.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, you're really hyping it up.
I mean, I think it'll, like Chevy said, it'll just be what it is. I'm not expecting to be super.
I like Sonic. I like racing.
Yeah.
I don't mind being part of teams. It's perfect.
Exactly. It's just gonna be good, not bad. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my expectation.
Yeah. I think this is potentially a banger month, which is nice to see. I'm actually pretty excited about it because if Ghost Runner is in fact the game that I think it is, I think I played a demo of it during one of the digital game fests before the game came out. They had a demo for it. If it is that game, I've played it, and that's a game that I liked enough, but not enough to buy it. So PlayStation Plus is always perfect for that. If it's a different game completely, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments, but I will appreciate it as long as you're cool about it. But if it's something else, I'm even more excited because then like I don't know what the fuck it is. And I like surprises. Ark, I'm just gonna say it. I'm a fan of it already. I have not played it on PlayStation, so this will more so be curiosity of how it plays on console now, especially because I played it on console on the Xbox One a long time ago, and like I said, it was horrible then. So hopefully it's come a long way. So it'll be cool to see. And then I'm actually kind of stoked to play the Sonic racing game because there's no fucking way I would ever buy it. That's not a game that's ever going to be on my radar.
True.
And now I get to try it. And if I have even just a little bit of fun, I'm gonna love it. If it's horrible, though, I'm going to love trashing on it. So it's a win-win for me. And then we've talked about Ghost of Tsushima on the channel plenty of times, especially the year that it came out. It was my game of the year that year. And Legends was one of the reasons it was game of the year because they added that on when they didn't need to for free. So we're not getting anything brand new, all three of us, with that. But it is giving us an excuse to play it. I'm going to use that excuse to try and organize a raid. To try and maybe do the second and third part. I think that'd be the best thing to do. And return and play the content that came out that I have not touched yet. But yeah, I'm actually really excited that they're offering that. A point you made to not be too controversial, but this is something you said, so I'm not trying to steal from you. But you made a joke about how it's essentially glorified. How'd you say it?
Oh, that it's a demo version?
Yeah, because of the whole Godfall thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see if people complain about this or not, since it's only a section of the game.
I think that's smart that they've made just a bonus.
Yeah.
Not like the featured game for the month. So
though I do feel like Ghost of Tsushima, whoever wanted to play it probably bought it already. There's going to be some variables out there, but it's such a big title, such a well-received title that
I'm just going to straight up say too, if you have not played Ghost of Tsushima, you need to play it.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good. Best game of that year. And Legends is awesome, especially if you like cooperative multiplayer. It's really good. I fucking cracked out on it when it came out. So being a little spoiler here, but I've literally talked about this on the channel multiple times.
I actually didn't know. I saw the other 3 games announced, but I didn't know that was that until I sat down right here and saw it. So I'm actually like giddy excited, like very excited.
Yeah.
That,
it's the bonus
to play it again.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm actually really looking forward to March. Outside of I'm gonna run into the same problem in March that I ran into in February, and I'll be trying to find time for these games, especially when they're just stacking 4 games on. I'm like, dude, I'm already not having enough time to play all the games I want to play right now. I just want to play Elden Ring, and fucking in March, Gran Turismo comes out, Stranger of Paradise comes out, fucking other games come out, and I'm like, Jesus. Hopefully the middle of this year is kind of a lull so I can catch up on everything that fucking got released all at once. So,
I'll say I also got 2 Switch games coming out next month too, with Choco GP and Triangle Strategy. So
fuck, I want that Choco GP. I want to race Chocobos. Or as a guy back in middle school used to say, Cocobos. He was wrong. Nobody says that. If you're watching this, you're wrong. And hopefully you've changed your ways.
You don't say that.
Yeah.
You think you do, but
shouldn't say that. All right. Well, unless you guys have anything else to say, let us know in the comments what you guys think about Ghost Runner, Ark Survival Evolved, Team Sonic Racing, and Ghost of Tsushima Legends, the glorified demo. Are you guys excited? You're not excited? What would you have rather seen possibly? And yeah, let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right. So we played some games in February. And those were UFC 4, Planet Coaster Console Edition, and Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. I kind of want to start with Tiny Tina because it's a game that already released technically on PlayStation Plus, and it's from Borderlands 2. So I don't know if I have a shitload to say on it. So yeah, if you guys didn't get a chance to play it, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep is a standalone version / advertisement from Borderlands 2. It was a DLC that came out back then. back when they supported the fuck out of Borderlands 2. It was probably one of the better DLCs back then, in which you play one of many characters that in first person, where you run around and shoot things, you get loot, you level up, you get perks. It's 4-player cooperative. And yeah, it's in the Borderlands universe, but it is under the fun story of them essentially playing Dungeons and Dragons. I forgot what it's called, Bunkers and Badasses. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
I think
I
so.
think
I hope
so.
that's just a really good guess. If I don't remember correctly. And yeah, so the game has this constant changing narrative of seeming like somebody is figuring out the game as they go, which is kind of a fun little take on it. Did I miss anything? I mean, it's Borderlands. You guys know what the fuck Borderlands is.
It's Borderlands 2.
Borderlands 2, but Bunkers and Badasses. We all played it, and let's start with Chevy on your impressions of Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep.
Okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying I've played Borderlands on console 3 times now, and I do not think it plays good on console personally. So that it's obviously a personal opinion, but I struggle to play this game on console. So for some reason, the aiming feels weird. So that in mind, I went in and started playing the game, and this being a DLC originally, where you would probably have equipment before going into it. It was a little weird going in and being effectively naked, and having to just like start from scratch in a DLC. So outside of that, I mean, I pretty much got everything I expected out of it. It definitely still looks and feels and sounds like Borderlands, which is, not a good or necessarily bad thing. It is, a personal preference for me. It's fine. I liked Borderlands 2 when I played it. The the guns and stuff like that are one of the shining things about Borderlands. You get, all the random weapons, stuff like that, and you never know what kind of like mixture of stats and like effects you're going to get, which makes, the gameplay more fun in that regard, because it's easier or it's better for longevity. That way you don't have like stale, I'm always going to start with, pistol that does nothing, for example. So, and I appreciate that about the series 100%. What else can I really say? I didn't get too far, mostly just because I have played this in the past, and I don't.
On that
enjoy my
note, real
experience
quick, I just want to preface everything I say in this whole episode when it comes to any of these games. This month has been fucked, and a lot of really great games got released this month, and so I've been playing a lot of those. Been playing a lot of Lost Ark, been playing a lot of Elden Ring, and this isn't a good excuse, but I did not put a lot of time into almost all of these games. So I'm going to say that right now. So when I say something like this, like I didn't play it very long, that's my excuse. And I assume you guys have the same excuse for a lot of this.
Yeah, I honestly, with this game in particular, I don't think that would have mattered for me.
Okay.
I probably wouldn't have put a lot of time into it anyways, just because I struggle to shoot things with the controller in this game, which is a personal thing. I'm not trying to blame the game, but I just, for some reason, have never liked the way this game feels on controller.
I'll touch on it as well when I talk about it, but yeah, the aiming's fucked. I'm no stranger to FPSs on anything, but I was like, man, maybe I haven't played a shooter on a console in a while because I was having problems aiming in Borderlands. Then I play Horizon Forbidden West, and I'm aiming like a motherfucker, like just really well. I'm like, no, it's literally the game.
Okay.
Because it does feel that whatever the aim assist is going on or whatever, it does not feel very good. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Outside of that, I think it's weird, and this is happening a lot for some reason lately, where we get parts of games, which we mentioned earlier with Ghost of Tsushima, and again with
Godfall.
I kind of don't like this trend. I hope it does not continue, because I don't like getting samples of full experiences. So you could argue you are getting a full Borderlands experience by playing this game, because it's not holding back anything, because you're getting the content they advertised or whatever. But it was sold as a DLC, so it's really weird. And they are blatantly using it as an advertisement for the next game,
Yeah.
which is smart for them, but feels kind of gross on my side. So
Yep, I agree. So did watching what's his nuts from Gearbox walk around a set talking about his movie that no one gives a fuck about.
yeah, exactly.
I don't think they care.
So I don't know. I got mixed feelings overall. Like it was okay. I don't have any like major complaints outside of just like I'm personally fatigued of Borderlands. But that has nothing to do with the quality of the game itself. It's a good game. It has a lot to do with it and stuff like that. I just have kind of sour taste in my mouth right now for it. So
Yeah. All right, I'll jump in next. I'm gonna try and keep this short because I've been with the game this old. I feel like you either played it or you didn't. And if you did play it for the first time through this, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. But so I love Borderlands 2. I played a shitload of it when it first came out, like a lot, to the point where I could almost not play Borderlands 3. Like I beat the story in Borderlands 3, but I didn't continue playing it because I still felt like I was just playing Borderlands 2 with some new features. So returning to this was kind of rough for me. Not really in the sense of like, oh man, I don't want to play that shitty game. But I'm like, oh dude, I've played that so much already. So really, it's kind of just pros and cons for me returning to this. First off, it's kind of interesting. I think it's kind of cool, but also kind of interesting. I can see why somebody wouldn't like it. That they just did a standalone DLC, because you don't have to play through and get to the point where you can do the DLC in Borderlands 2. You can just play this, and it does serve as a good reminder that they have a whole game that's going to be based off something similar to this coming out soon. So that is an interesting thing. You also start just being able to use badass points, so you kind of have skipped the whole getting to the end of the game part of Borderlands 2. So you do get kind of a full experience there. I fucking hate that when you start the game, though, there's an advertisement for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. You could argue it's harmless or whatever, but I hate starting a game up and seeing a commercial that has 3 buttons. Hit square, triangle, or circle to buy one of the versions of Wonderlands. And then there's a thing that's like, oh, you can skip this, though. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't have shown me this at all. I don't mind if on the fucking login screen, the main menu, down in the bottom right corner, there's a little window that's like moving and has advertisements for things about Borderlands. I can deal with that, but don't start your game like that where I can like hit a button and it's going to take me to a fucking store. It's a little too on the nose to the point where I think it's gross. Not a big deal. Didn't change the gameplay, but it was the first thing I fucking saw when I started the game up, and I'm like, ew, dude, like chill. But that's what this got released for. Also, speaking of something that I don't like, I think it is kind of lame that we got the Handsome Jack collection a while back. Maybe you didn't get it, so maybe this will be cool for you. But, we got access to all the DLCs with Borderlands 2, and yeah, so we got this again. And this is probably one of the first times in PlayStation Plus history that I've experienced that, getting the same game. In a different way, but nonetheless, still getting the game again. So that's kind of lame. Pros, though, the game looks great. I played on PS5. It's very clean looking. It still looks good for a game that came out a long time ago. The whole cell shading, cartoony look really lasts a long time, and it does look like what I experienced when I played on PC. It plays smooth. Everything works really good. And even though I had my apprehensions of playing this because I played it so much back in the day, I have to admit, once I started leveling and putting perk points into things, and getting badass points, and getting gear, there's a little part of my brain's like, keep playing. Just keep playing. You like this kind of shit. But I was like, no, I can do this in other games. I've already played this. So that's definitely a pro. They got their formula down, especially in Borderlands 2, and it's still potent. Good selection of classes. I think it has all of them from Borderlands 2, so that's nice. You just jump into this and play. This game also served as a reminder that the writing in Borderlands 2 was so fucking far superior to Borderlands 3. It's insane. The writing in this is actually fun, quirky, interesting, creative. I had fun running around, listening to them have their stupid discussions that are comical, and the world's changing around me as it's happening. And I'm like, oh yeah, Borderlands 2 was really fucking good. And Borderlands 3, gameplay-wise, is a superior game, but story-wise, fucking dog shit. Horrible. I hated it. And so, yeah, it was kind of nice to kind of experience that again. On the note of shooting, yeah, aiming sucks. It's I mean, I fucking played around enough to the point where, you know, I adapted to it and started shooting better and better. But yeah, it was a little the game starts you out, and it gave me a fucking pistol that all the enemies were immune to the damage. What kind of fucking joke is that? I started with a pistol, and to get gear I have to kill these guys, and I'm shooting them and they're immune to the hits, and I have to run up and start punching them to kill them. I'm like, this is a fucking stupid joke. So that was annoying. On top of the aiming, that wasn't that great. It was very frustrating as soon as I started playing the game. I actually had to play for like 20 minutes. I turned it off, and then it came back. And then, you know, later, days later, weeks later, and fucking played it. And it was better that time when I had refreshed my brain from going, wow, they're really fucking me with this. Yeah, so aiming is not that great, but you can get used to it. Start was kind of shit. The game itself still stands the test of time, in my opinion, even though I'm still burnt out on it. I enjoyed playing it. I didn't play multiplayer because I didn't want to spend too much time in this game, admittedly. But I did play it for like 3 hours just to kind of revisit it again and kind of see what was offered on console. And I think they nailed it. I think it's outside of my complaints, everything else is great in it. I could see myself maybe if I was playing with people playing through this or something. But yeah, I mean, it's just blatant as you're playing it, though, that you're just like, Wonderland's coming out. Wonderlands is coming out. I get it. Wonderlands is coming out. And when that comes out, this will be irrelevant outside of, I doubt the story will be as interesting because whoever's writing for Gearbox right now when it comes to Borderlands is not as good as the person before. But overall, it was cool. I didn't hate it. I just, have some strong complaints. But other than that, it's a very solid game that got re-released. So, yeah, take that as you will. Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, I generally agree so far with everything that you guys have said. Borderlands 2 is a really great, like, solid game. It's kind of disappointing to me, not to talk just on Borderlands 2 for too long, but, like, just how much they just took this game that, like, did so well, that everybody liked so much, and then just tried to, like, milk the shit out of it. So it's like, it's discouraging to hear that, like, everybody's so burnt out on Borderlands 2, like, oh, this game's so cool, but, I'm over Borderlands 2. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I mean, this game, I'm kind of in the same boat, though. Like, I'm not that stoked to play more Borderlands 2 because I played so much of it. But it was nice to go back and just kind of get a little taste of it again. It just kind of reminded me how good of a game that was. I really liked the classes in Borderlands 2 also compared to some of the other ones. Got to play the Necromancer, which is one of my favorite Borderlands classes. So, overall, it was fine. It was a fine... it did honestly make me more interested in playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland or whatever.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play that. So, I'm sure we'll play that.
I mean, I would say that I was interested in it, and then I played this, and I was more hyped for it afterwards. So I guess, achievement get for them. But it's kind of a double-edged sword, though, because part of me is excited for it because I'm just, like, really hoping it's a more fresh take on Borderlands instead of just them trying to continue to do the same thing that worked one time, and it's not working as well anymore. So I hope that they really do something different. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's just going to be disappointing again. It's like,
well, the problem is they got their formula down and it works, but the investment aspect isn't there in their newer games. So hopefully the new one.
Well, that's the thing. Like it's not really working anymore because none of them are as good as Borderlands 2. So,
yeah. Well, I think Borderlands 3 is a better playing game for sure. Yeah. But
it's missing the thing that made Borderlands 2 so good, which was like the story and like the charm. Borderlands 3 is still charming, but it's not as good as the second one.
Well, I don't think Borderlands 3 is charming at all, but yeah, the story, but also that they're treating it like a game as a service game, and they're constantly updating everything in it and balancing things to the point where you can't have a ridiculously overpowered weapon, whereas in Borderlands 2, it was just as is. The game came out, you could get some of the higher end weapons and just feel like a complete asshole, just devastating everything. That is fun. So yeah. Anyway, enough about Borderlands 3.
Yeah. I just don't want them to have used this as a way to sell Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and then Tiny Tina's Wonderland is still not as good as Borderlands 2, just like Borderlands 3 wasn't as good as Borderlands 2. But the game was fun. I got a little bit of a Warhammer vibe, like getting to shoot orcs in the Borderlands universe, so that was fun. Yeah. It was fine. It was Borderlands 2. I didn't hate it. I did play it, the one day that I played it all day. Mm-hmm. So, but then I didn't go back to it because.
Yeah, that day you were like hit me up going like fucking I think I'm gonna beat this, and then fucking just didn't come back to it.
Yeah. I was really.
So you're feeling real good that day.
Well, because it's fun. It's Borderlands 2. It's fun. Mm-hmm. Like I like Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I was reluctant to play it, and then when I started playing it, I started getting into my brain. Yeah. I was like, uh-oh, I could keep playing this right now.
Exactly.
But if I get away from it, I can not play it. So addictive in the moment for sure. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, let's jump into recommendations. I'm going to just throw it out there. If you like Borderlands, you probably played this already, but if you didn't, you should check it out. I would recommend you get the Handsome Jack collection though. But if you only had access to it through this, definitely check it out. If you like cooperative shooters, if you like first-person shooters, if you like games with loot and skill trees and zany, quirky comedy writing and stories, definitely check this out. Yeah, and games, I don't know how much time you can put into this since it's just the DLC, but games that you can like put time into, I would recommend you play this as well, especially because you have access to the badass points already. You can really make your character even more powerful the more you play. So yeah, anything you guys would add?
No, it's a little bit hard for me to recommend this game because I don't know, it's just Borderlands 2.
So your recommendation is you would not recommend it to anybody?
I would recommend if this looked interesting to play Borderlands 2.
Anything, Chevy?
I mean, honestly, just kind of a reinforcement of the point of being a cooperative looter shooter would be that it has drop in, drop out multiplayer. So, and it's no bullshit. So you can just kind of get in and leave whenever you need to, no matter how much time you have to play. So,
yeah.
No fingies.
No fingies dropped. You don't got to drop fingies in this game. All right. Anything else? Let's grade it. I'll grade it first. I'm going to give it a weak. I'm going to give it a weak B. It serves its purpose. I have my annoyances. That's why it's not going to go anywhere further than a B, but the game itself is solid. I don't really have much complaints outside of the aiming. I do think it's kind of dorky that it's an advertisement, and I do think it's kind of lame that they re-released it. But the core game, when you play it, works, does what it wants, or does what you want it to do, and has loot and can be fun. It's not a bad game. The circumstances are off. So yeah, it's a weak B. Could be better if it was the full package. I would probably grade it higher. Chevy?
Actually going to echo you pretty much verbatim. It's a B game. Borderlands 2 with all its DLCs is easily an A- game. Yeah. You're just getting a slice of that. Mm-hmm. So with some kind of crappy advertising mechanisms thrown in there. So yeah, the B.
Sarah?
I think you kind of really hit the nail on the head. I am gonna give it a B+ though. Just because I love Borderlands 2. But yeah, I I'm not stoked that this was a game that they offered on PlayStation Plus, but I think the game itself is good. B+.
When you put your hand up like that, I thought you were gonna be like on the doohickey. Like you're just like whatever the thing's fucking called.
On the thingy.
Where am I? What show is this? What are we talking about? Is this PlayStation or Xbox? Yeah. So 2 B's and a B+. Not the worst grades in the world. Pretty good, but could be better. Anything else you guys want to say on Borderlands, whatever the fuck it's called? Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. All right. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. I'm so excited I don't have to say that title ever again, unless it gets re-released. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you revisit it? Did you just go, no, that's behind me. I played that already a long time ago. And what'd you think of it? What'd you think of the aiming? Do you think it was off as well? Or do you just pro gamer and it fucking nailed it every time? Headshots, every single shot. Get good, noob. And yeah, let me know everything you think about in the comments below. Second game we played this month was UFC 4. I don't remember 3. I think the last one I played was 2.
Same.
In which you play as MMA fighters, whether it is well-known MMA fighters or your own custom-made one. You punch people in the face, you kick them in the stomach, you break bones, you break my shin, and yeah, you do that in the octagon. There's a career mode. There's free play. It features advanced systems of punching, kicking, grappling, elbowing, kneeing, ground and pound, and all sorts of shit. And it's a brutal and violent game. We all played it, and let's start this time with Sarah on your impressions of UFC 4. You big fan of UFC? Do you got a dog named after?
Yeah, so I am kind of a big MMA fan. So it's been a little while since I followed it, but UFC 4, I was interested to play. You know, we named our dog Mirko after an MMA fighter, and so like going in, I was really excited. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna play as Mirko Crow Cop, and then he wasn't in the game, so.
So like F. Fuck
Give this game an F.
You could make him.
Sure.
True, you could.
Sure, but that was a little disappointing. But anyway, the game overall, I thought was pretty fun. You know, for what it is, I thought that the combat system. I was impressed by how advanced some of the combat systems were. But at the same time, I didn't really want to spend the time figuring it out. Like, it didn't really grab me in any other way to kind of make me interested in playing it very much. I made a character. I did some of the intro, like the career mode. Mm-hmm. It was fine.
What'd you think about how they handle career mode? Like the seamless cutscenes of the dude kind of talking about you like a documentary almost, and then you do these fights in training. Do you like the way they did that, or?
I generally think that any sports game with lots of cutscenes is cheesy as fuck, and I kind of felt the same way in this game. So that's kind of the thing. It's like I don't like how they handle sports games. I feel the same way about racing games. Like, it always just feels so cringy and cheesy, and I felt the same way about this game.
Yeah, it's always just a car driving up, and people are like, "Whoa, bro, Shringro, how you going? How you going,
yeah.
bro?" And fucking, you just like are like hanging out and like doing like stupid shit at like these events, and it's always like, who does this relate to?
Yeah, I don't know. I would prefer just like, and I don't even feel like I normally would say this, but I would prefer just like menus and just like take me in and like, let's just do it. I don't want none of this like fake pretend story that you're trying to get me to connect with. That is just not.
I don't think I've ever connected with those sports stories ever.
I just wish they'd stop trying.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just not for me. Maybe someone out there is like,
start trying.
Dang, I love these sports game stories and I really connect with it. But it was a big turnoff in this game for me. yeah, I really wanted to play this game more, but
just didn't do it for you.
I just didn't. No, I had a hard time even playing it for the few hours that I played it. And like I said, I was actually really impressed, like going through the tutorial at how advanced some of the controls are, especially compared to, you know, some of the games, like fighting games I've played in the past, or like those old wrestling games I used to play when I was a kid. Like, it's a lot more advanced, but I wasn't compelled to learn the systems. I just didn't want to play it.
Fair.
I had a hard time.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. I'll go next, I guess. This game is pretty cool. It was kind of nice to return to it. I used to play. Me and Josh used to like always get like the newest UFC game, and we'd always like play and fight each other and break each other's fucking legs and shit. And it's always a lot of fun. So, like I said, I skipped over UFC 3. For some reason, I thought they had stopped making UFC games. And then we got 4, so like, that might be interesting to hop back into. I have a past of playing these games. It's pretty fun. It's got that EA sports jank to it. All their fucking sports games got some weird shit going on, but it's EA, right? I'm pretty sure it's an EA game. But yeah, it's got that EA Sports jank to it, for sure. There's a bunch of weird shit that happens, but they got some pretty advanced systems that are going on in the combat here. This isn't just a game where two people are standing on two sides doing their combos. There's like grappling, and certain things are connecting, and your knuckles can like graze someone's face and still do damage to them versus like a well-placed punch that actually contacts the head. So it's a lot of really impressive stuff going on that I've always really enjoyed about these games, but you do run into weird arm movements and bending that shouldn't happen in situations like this, I guess. I played the career mode. I didn't do any of the free play. And I mean, I'm on the same page. I think it's cheesy, but I do think it's kind of neat how seamless the experience was, how it faded into this documentary and then into training camp and then into these fights that are part of the story that's being told like a documentary. I think it's on paper and on a technical level a cool experience, but when it comes down to like the bros fucking shaking hands and be like, welcome to the fucking the party, bro, and fucking everyone's like just being dorks, I'm just like, I'm not into it. Gameplay's fun. I really enjoy it. It felt more like there's more ability to do more things in combat than in prior games, in a more simplified fashion. It felt more natural this time around. The only complaint I have, and you can fix this so it's not like a hard complaint, is the ground and pound game has been simplified. And I think that's because back in UFC 2, I learned how to do ground and pound really well, and then I'd play my friend and I'd just fucking decimate him. And the whole time they'd be screaming at me, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? I'm just breaking their arm and doing all the shit. I think it was a little too complicated for a lot of people. So they simplified it. And so playing this with simplified grappling, I fucking hated it. It was way too simple. It does tell you if you don't like this, you can do the classic version of it, which I did switch to. But I wanted to experience what their standard gameplay mechanics were. And it's essentially just use your right stick and press a direction and commit to it. And when you commit to it, that will happen unless they overpower you committing against that. It's more of a mini game than it is feeling kind of like what they did with skate when it comes to skateboards. In the old UFC games, it felt like that. It felt like they were trying to simulate you having to do certain things on the stick to, get the advantage on somebody. In this, it feels more like choose your own adventure. It feels like you're making a decision in a Quantic Dream game. So that's kind of weird. But yeah, I cannot tell you, and this, maybe you don't identify with this, I can't tell you how fucking satisfying it is to do a fucking kick, a high kick into someone's head and watch them just fall to the ground and just hear that and they just go out. And I'm like, holy shit, what game offers that? So I enjoy the combat in this game. Not in real life. Don't do that to people in real life. Or kicking someone in the rib and the rib just gets redder and redder, and that characters are actually guarding against their rib at that point. And it has this like visceral feeling of like, oh shit, this is like real combat where like you can just keep fucking cutting down a tree by kicking someone in the knee over and over again until it breaks. And that's something you have to watch as well in your defense when you're fighting. These are things that you don't have to think about in a lot of fighting games. That was a lot of fun to play around with in UFC 4. Admittedly, I haven't played these in a while, like I said, so my first couple matches, I thought I was doing pretty good. I kicked a dude in the head like 12 times. Clean, fucking solid kicks to his head. His head was all fucked up. He's bleeding everywhere. And then he kicked me in the shin 3 times, broke it, and it was over. And I was like, what the fuck? But in real life, somebody could just kick you once in the leg and break it. It just felt super fucking shitty that I was just like, oh, dude, this guy's gonna go out soon. It's gonna be night for this guy. And then he's like, nope, and broke my leg. And I was like, okay, I guess it's over.
Imagine how that feels in real life, dude.
I don't want to. This is why I played the video games. I didn't train in my early 20s to go get head trauma. But yeah, it has a couple problems, but I think UFC 4 is a fairly solid MMA game. And I mean, what's its competition? Not a lot. So yeah, I liked it. It's fun. Chevy.
Yeah. So I don't even remember the last time I touched a game like this before. So
Sega Genesis.
Yeah, maybe. So I had pretty non-existent expectations going into it, other than I'm not particularly fond of sports, but I do like fighting games, so it's kind of a weird spot for me to be in with this game. So getting into it, the first thing I did, as usual, was make a character. The character creator is pretty decent. I made a very ridiculous looking dude because I did not want him to fit in with all the buff bros.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a very large guy with very long, greasy looking hair.
Gross. That's so you can't grab it.
Yeah,
You slip right off.
It was pretty gross. Which was intentional. I wanted it to be kind of goofy. I wasn't taking it too seriously.
Dude, I always make goofy characters, especially on PlayStation Plus games. If it's temporary for the show, I'm just like, I'm never gonna play this again.
Yeah. Then going into the career mode, though I have no connection with the storytelling and stuff like that they're doing, I do think it does serve as a good training guidance throughout the way of the game. Because as someone who had no idea what they were doing, it took the time to put me in scenarios where I had to learn certain things, and then you do a beginner's match where the AI is kind of dumb, and then you learn advanced techniques and you do a match or whatever. And I do think the pacing of that was done very well as someone who had to just learn the whole game with no knowledge of it. I also will give them credit. The combat is super technical. That's a lot of button and presses, and that's probably going to be intimidating for a lot of people. So the pacing of the training, I think, is good for that too, because it teaches you really basic stuff at first, and then goes into more advanced techniques. So I do think that's a good thing. Obviously, you're going to need an interest. So if they don't hook you in that moment, you're probably going to give up, because combat gets kind of hard. As you
I mean,
go,
yeah, you
especially
can like get someone in a clinch and like start like kneeing them in the ribs or start punching them in their jaw and shit. And like this is like a whole other fight that's happening outside of standing there and punching and kicking at each other, because now they have to start defending themselves and try and get out of it and also punch you back and stuff. And there's so many variables of things like that in the combat that like it is a technical game. And it is kind of neat because you can tell, the EA Sports division working on this game is probably working like in tandem with people who are actually in MMA to like try and make like this authentic experience that I think they do a good job at.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think impact feels really good, which is really important in any fighting game. So I really enjoyed. I also did a lot of head kicking and watching the reaction to the force of the kick, whether they got a partial block or no block or whatever going on, to the point where you could tell like a few rounds in, both characters getting super tired, not taking hits nearly as good as they were in the first round.
Well, they incorporate that really well too, because even if you're like just wailing on a dude and you're fucking his head's all fucked up, or you've been doing something, but you've been like exerting yourself a lot, it will bite you in the ass later, because now you're tired and they could like just lay you out.
Yeah, well, when it's funny, because the first match, the training match, where I was trying to get comfortable, with what I was doing, I was going for a lot of shots, head kicks, because I do know that in these games you want to like kind of do a lot of repeat damage to end someone, whether that's the knee, the ribs, etc. And watching them finally crumple every once in a while, but there was a point where he got up and he threw a punch, and my character was tired, so I fell over one hit. So I had to, go through that, get up. Ended up being quite a long match, just because we were both just too tired to fight each other after a while.
Yeah.
So, which was just interesting. The second match, after I learned a couple more techniques, I kind of just kicked him in the head a couple times, and then did the fucking punch where you go like this or whatever. And he just kind of went out. But yeah, it's fun enough. I don't think I could play it a lot because the skill ceiling is really high, and I honestly just play too many games to commit that kind of time to it. So, but it was fun enough. It does have like you said before, it is an EA Sports game, and it kind of shows sometimes. But no one else is really doing these kind of games either. So, it's the one thing I think EA pretty much continues to have going for them. They're not always for me, but in this case, I enjoyed myself. So,
yeah. Anything else you guys want to say on it? All right, let's jump into recommendations. I think the easy ones are, if you like MMA, it's probably a must play because it's your best avenue to have something as close as possible to that. If you like fighting games, I would recommend it. It's a different kind of fighting game, but it's a fighting game. So if you like squaring off against somebody else and trying to best them in combat, this is definitely a game I would recommend to you. If you're somebody like me and you played UFC games back in the day, or even wrestling games, and you're kind of out of the loop on it, I would recommend it to you. Like, return to it, check it out, especially if you got it on PlayStation Plus. It's a good time to check it out. It's still fun. Let's see. If you like games with high impact, I don't care if it's like a fighting game, action game, whatever. Games where you hit something and you feel like you dropped them. It definitely has that. Maybe just like playing like a first-person game where you're doing melee combat. I can't think of any off the top of my head, like Condemned or something like that back in the day. You might enjoy this. I'm pretty much recommending this. Recommendation is for Josh, because he's that guy. So am I. And then also lightly, it almost feels like when you're fighting people, it's almost like a boss battle, because the fights can like go on for a while, and you're kind of strategizing in combat on how to take the guy out, where the weaknesses are, and where their defense sucks and where it's good. So if you like games where you like almost like fight bosses only strictly, you might kind of dig this, because it has that. It's not like a fighting game in the sense of like you got 2 minutes to fucking take this guy out like in a normal fighting game or something like that. It's every fight it has a lot of variables, and so it does feel like you're taking somebody out in a more strategic way. So I would definitely check it out lightly on that. And yeah, if you like character customization, it's got a decent one. And career mode, if you for some reason like career modes, I would recommend it to you. And yeah, you guys got anything to add to that?
No, I just want to second that. Like, if you're into sports games and you like MMA, UFC, I would say more specifically if you like UFC, that this game is done really well. I think that the combat feels really realistic. So it's really technical. I think if you're into games with a high skill ceiling too, like a game where the more time you invest in it, the more reward you're gonna get, I think this is one of those games. So
yeah. Do you have anything to add?
I mean, yeah, if you're just into the idea of having a lot of tools at your disposal, or to word that differently, utilize the entire controller to play a game.
Yeah.
This is that kind of game. So
yeah, I agree. If you like brawlers, this is a one-on-one brawler, but definitely worth your time to check out if you're interested in that. Chevy, you want to grade it?
Actually, I don't really have any complaints. But I'm not in love with it, so I'm gonna give it a B plus. It's a solid game. It does what it needs to do, and the The fighting does feel good. So yeah, B plus.
Fair. Sarah?
I'm gonna give it an A minus. I think the game's not really for me, but I'm super impressed with the complexity of the combat, and as somebody who's like into MMA and martial arts and stuff, or has been, familiarized with it in the past, like I think they just do a really, really good job of making it feel realistic, in the sense that it's, in real life fighting, there's a lot of complexities to it, and they do a really good job of kind of adding that into the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna also give it a B plus. I think it's a solid game. I enjoyed playing it. I don't know if I'll return to it, but if I have it installed and looking to burn some time real quick and I feel like punching something, this is a good place to do it. I can't go in the A territory for me personally because I'm not in love with the game, but it's fun. It's fun for sure. I would definitely recommend it if you are into these kind of games. So 2 B pluses and an A minus, all good grades, all better than the last game's grades. So that's interesting. Although this game wasn't re-released from a game that came out like 25 years ago. All right. Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think of UFC 4. Did you play it? Did you not play it? If you didn't play it, why didn't you play it? Are you into MMA? Are you not into MMA? How does that affect how you think of the game? Did you play it? And if you played it, what did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? And do you like the combat in this one better or worse than prior iterations? And if there's a better iteration than this one, let me know which one's the best one. Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below when it comes to UFC 4. Last game we played this month was Planet Coaster Console Edition. If you didn't get a chance to play Planet Coaster Console Edition, it is the console edition of Planet Coaster. So that means that they've set up the game to work on your controller as opposed to a mouse and keyboard. It is a theme park simulator where you either play pre-made theme parks and make them thrive, or you create them from scratch, from the ground up, and see if you can make a theme park that people want to come to, or really do whatever the hell you want to. You want to make a trash theme park and just see how awful of a time people have there. You can do that. It offers a lot. There's a lot of parts and pieces to add to your theme park, a lot of rides to create. You can literally customize everything to very fine details. And yeah, it offers a very welcome tutorial theme park that shows you the ropes of the console edition, which I appreciated. And yeah, you make a theme park and you can ride your rides. So that's pretty cool. We all played it. Who went first last time? I'll go. Fuck it. Yeah, so I just want to kind of throw this out there because, just so you know, I have this already on PC. I've played it on there and like it enough there. So coming to this, it was more so for me seeing how it translates onto controller. And I'm happy to say that I think it translates well on controller. It is a little confusing at first. When I was doing the tutorial, it would be like, do this. And I'm like, where? And then like sometimes it'd be flashing what it wants me to do. Sometimes it wouldn't. And a lot of it's like spoken by like characters, kind of like playing out this scenario of like someone's like a theme park tycoon, and then you got somebody who's like a social media influencer who's like goes to theme parks a lot, so they're giving you their insight, and then you got like the money hungry corporate person who's telling you how to increase sales on things and stuff like that. So it has like a fun nature to how they do the tutorial. But in it essentially shows you the ropes on how to navigate all the menus. And there's a lot of them with your controller. And like I said, at first it's a little like, oh shit, there's a lot going on here. And I got to go there and I got to back out of this to get to that and all that stuff. But once you get it down, it all starts to flow and starts to work pretty good. So that was the biggest hurdle that I think works pretty good in my opinion. Outside of that, making a theme park, if you're into that, I know a lot of people probably not gonna be into that. Is a lot of fun in my opinion. I enjoyed quick recommendation. If you like fucking customizing stuff in any game ever, this game's great for that. You literally put everything where you want it, how you want it, the way you want it to look, and then you get to set every parameter. Prices of tickets on rides, prices of food at stands, how much you pay your workers, when they can rest, all sorts of shit. I mean, you control everything. And it's if you're into it, a lot of fun. I enjoyed throwing down like a roller coaster and then building a bunch of stuff around it, tunnels and stuff like that you go through on the roller coaster, all sorts of stuff, and then being able to ride it to kind of see what the experience would be like is pretty neat. The thing I always think of in these kind of games, like, would be cool to have a VR headset right now and just like check it out in that way. That'd be fucking dope. The game's clean looking, looks great in general, but on console, they nailed it. It looks really good. It's a lot of fun to kind of watch like a bunch of people pour into your theme park and actively have a visual of like, trash all over the ground that you got to start getting more janitors to start taking care of. But then you also have all these like hard metrics you can look at that'll show you like analytics on what's going on in your park. So if you're like, trying to confirm like, wow, it looks like over there is not doing too well, you can like start looking at the numbers and stuff like that. I mean, it's literally a simulator. That's what they're doing here, and I think they do a really good job on it. Especially like back in the day, there's so many sim games, and specifically on Steam, a lot of people have filled that void, which is, I mean, a lot. I'm not even trying to be light about that. A lot of people have filled that void. There's fucking power washer simulators and shit. Of course, you guys know that.
That's super popular right now.
Yeah.
So much fun.
And so there's a lot of simulators out there, and it's amazing how many people really enjoy them. But back in the day, there was like a sim hospital, sim theme park, sim blah 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 blah, and since then, people have come and made their own versions of those games. I've thought Planet Coaster has been like a fantastic game on PC when it comes to filling the void of those games. It really has gone all out, and I think on console it doesn't skip a beat. It's the same game. It works good on the controller. I think it's not even like it's gonna be to each their own for sure, but like this isn't one of those situations where I'd be like, well, it's fun, but I prefer to play on mouse and keyboard. I do prefer just because I'm used to it, but I think it works just fine on the controller. You're not aiming at anything in this, so it's completely viable. And if this is the place, maybe you prefer to like lay in bed and play this game with a controller as opposed to sitting at your fucking desk and playing on your PC. It's a very viable way to do it, and a way I would definitely recommend you do it. I don't really think there's a better or worse in this situation. But yeah, they nailed it. It's a good version of the game. It's a good console version. They thought it out. The team that worked on this game is already really talented with what they made, and they show it with their support for the console edition, which makes the game completely playable there. I enjoyed playing it. I was going to continue to keep playing it, but I was like, I have it on my PC. I'll just play it there, but if I want to. But yeah, I had fun. Let's jump over to Sarah.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it as well. I was impressed at the complexity of the game. I think it's really easy. Just to bring up an example that you already mentioned, like Power Wash Simulator is super fun, but there's not a lot of complexity there. Like it's a
Zen garden.
It is what it is, It is a Zen garden, exactly. This game is much different than that. You can customize everything, and to touch on, like you said, riding, like having the camera and riding on the roller coaster was really cool. And in fact, the first time that I did that, I got off and moved all of the scenery that I had put in around my roller coaster, just because like I had then experienced it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this needs to be different. So it was fun. Like I really enjoyed this game. I have in the past played a lot of like Roller Coaster Tycoon and stuff, so this was really cool to see like a more modern iteration of that. With all the stuff they can do. It really is like, it's crazy, because I feel like you could just play the game like really simply, like, put the rides down, open the rides. Sometimes they cost more money, but you can do much more with it if you're interested in like all the analytics. I do think it played well on the controller. I think I think it plays just fine on the controller. I think the only thing I would say is if you are interested in doing more of the like custom creation, that I probably would recommend playing on a mouse and keyboard instead. Because you can just like pick, oh, this like scenery thing and put it down, or just like pick these pre-made rides, or even like making some of the roller coasters, like you could just, you know, do it really simply, but you can be very creative and like original with things too. Like they give you all these assets and stuff that you can put together in your own way. And I think when you start to get into that territory, I think the controller play suffers a little bit. Even just making the roller coaster was a little bit frustrating on the controller. But then once you get used to it, it's fine. I just think if you're trying to do something more specific or more creative, I think it might be difficult on a controller.
Except for People in Dreams on PS4.
Yeah, I mean,
they
and
make everything.
it's not to say that you can't do it on a controller. I just think that, you know, that's kind of probably where a mouse and keyboard might be of more benefit. Because in every other way, I think the controller works just fine. And that was my biggest worry going into the game, is that the controller experience was going to be weird.
And it is always easier in a menu-based game to just take a mouse and click here and click there and click there, and not have to like press down the D-pad, go over to the right, press circle, back out, and fucking go to this, click on that, go to here. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was really interesting, and lets you be creative, kind of to the extent that you want to be creative. You know, you can kind of get crazy with it, but also you can just slap a pirate ship down somewhere. So
True.
It was fun. I really liked it. I didn't buy it on Steam, but I really wanted to buy it on Steam after I played it. I feel like it's a game that I would play again.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Chevy.
Yeah, so I also, you know, enjoy playing a lot of sim games. I don't play them a lot, but every time I play them, I enjoy them. Unless they just play bad. That's kind of the make or break for sim games, right? Is the way they control. And I'm happy to say that the controller plays really good with this game. They did a good job with it. I was a little worried about it at first because games where you have to do a lot of things usually start getting challenging to accomplish with a controller to make it feel good. I think it does feel good and intuitive with this game. They did a good job with that. So the graphics are really good. I think it's a very pleasant to look at game, very clean, colorful. Everything makes sense when you look at it. It's hard to be confused at what you're looking at, which is also important, especially when you're going through and micromanaging all the little things. Even being able to get the cues of like, oh, there's a lot of garbage buildup here. Maybe I should put a garbage can here. Or, hey, the garbage cans are filling up a little too much around the park. Maybe I should hire another janitor. They do a really good job on that. The employees addressing their needs to you is nice as well, because you can kind of make adjustments. Knowing how much certain rides cost to maintain and how much you should charge for the ticket price for those rides and stuff like that. I mean, the game gives you a lot of information, and I really enjoy that, because you can kind of play, you know, at your pace and decide how much profit you want to make, how much, you know, expansion you want to do, it, how, you know, how risky, how quick you want to do that. Those options are all there. It's really nice. I think one of my favorite features though is and they kind of do this in the tutorial when you finally get a chance to put the roller coaster up, is you can decorate around the roller coaster and make whatever theme you want. But then when you're done with that, you can drag and highlight a bunch of stuff and save that design to use somewhere else.
Yeah, so if you like your whole setup on that roller coaster, not just the roller coaster, but the things around it, yeah,
all
you
the decoration,
you can copy and paste it into other theme parks and stuff.
Yeah, which is really good feature just because you can spend a lot of time. I actually did spend a lot of time making a fantasy, like medieval fantasy style roller coaster where there's a dragon fighting knights and there's little encampments here with people like prepping to go fight it and stuff like that. Towers and trees everywhere and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun. I do think they did really good variation of this game on console. I actually have no complaints other than in the early part of the tutorial, communication is a little iffy, but it smooths out almost immediately afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I would totally play this again. So.
All right, those are all some pretty good endorsements. I figure we can jump into recommendations, unless you guys have more to say. None. Okay, so I think the easy ones are if you like sim games, specifically theme parks. If you like the idea of theme parks and you want to run one, this is probably one of your best options for that. But if you're also into other sim games, you like the idea of just kind of like doing these. I don't want to say monotonous in a negative sense, but like these more analytical tasks and creative tasks to accrue, money and stuff like that. Definitely check it out. If you're somebody who likes to express yourself creatively, maybe play The Sims just to build houses, or stuff like that. Or when you play an MMO, you want to like build up your house and decorate your rooms and shit like that. This is a game you're probably gonna really dig. It offers you a lot of tools to do that. If you're somebody who likes to problem solving games, figure things out, this is a good game for that as well, because your theme park, you're trying to optimize to make it fun and profitable, and maintain a bunch of things, make sure they're running well. And so this is something that not only are you going to be creating things and looking at it and going, I made that, that's cool, but also problems will arise and you're going to have to fix those. And so if you're into problem solving games, I would definitely recommend it to you. If you like this kind of goes into the same thing, but into other things as well. If you like games where you can just kind of like kick back and relax, you're not riding around on torrent and getting attacked by dragons in open fields, or you're not running around in open fields getting attacked by mechanical dinosaurs, or you're not doing parkour off buildings with zombies up your ass. You're just kind of like sitting there with music going ba 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 ba, and you're fucking just sitting there like, building up your theme park, and people are going like, "Yay, I'm having fun," and that's just kind of like chill. Like if you're looking for a chill game, this is a good chill game. It's a good game you can just kind of like relax to, continue your progress on this theme park or make a new one. You definitely, this game's, huh?
Or the scenarios, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can just sit around and have a good time with this game. So if you're into that, I would caution people that if you are not into the idea of sim games, this one's probably not going to change your mind. So I'm not trying to deter you from playing it, but I'm going to be realistic about that this is a sim game. And so if you're into sim games, you're probably going to be into this. And if you're not into sim games, probably won't be into this game. It is not, I think, for everybody, as much as the people who are selling this game would probably hope everybody would want to play it. It is a hard sim. And so hopefully you're into that, and hopefully you check it out and see if you're into that or not. Maybe you don't know. But I would recommend it to everyone to find out if they're into sim games by playing this excellent sim game. Anything you guys want to add?
If you're into competitive multiplayer and that's all you're into, you're not gonna like this game.
Unless you're playing this and you're looking at your friend's theme park and you're like, my theme park's fucking better than yours.
My theme park makes more money than your theme park.
My theme park's the best theme park. I got the highest scores of everything in this theme park. My friend's like, bro, I'm just trying to enjoy my life. All right,
I'm just trying to relax, dude.
He's fucking chill.
Do you think it's funny that we're talking about a sim game, and someone in my Steam just started up a sim game? So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
perfect, dude. They're
good
listening.
Timing. I don't know. It is a very hyper specific game for sure. You either like sim games or you don't, and if you like sim games in that spectrum, I think this is done really well.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, like you said, it's not going to change anyone's mind. This is not a stepping stone game, I don't think.
Yeah.
So
and it's not reinventing the wheel in a way that's trying to be like bring new people in. Like it's just like, hey, you guys miss sim games? So do we. Here's a really good one.
Just does
it's
lot
comfortable.
Really well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
for sure.
I think I would second the problem solving on it. Like the recommendation if you like problem solving games. I think it's more of like a management sim than like some of the other really popular sim games right now, like Power Wash Simulator or like Gas Station Attendant Simulator or whatever all those games are. It's not like that.
Cop Simulator.
It's far more like complex in the types of things you can do. There's a lot of information you can take in. I actually really enjoyed problem solving in the scenarios. I think it's done really well.
Yeah. I'm waiting for them to make simulator, where you play a dude playing a simulator. You got to micromanage him.
Yeah.
Or her.
Bought a sim recently that I need to play where you are a manager of a content creator. So.
Oh, dang. That's a step up above the streamer simulator game.
Yeah.
It's pretty much that. It's called Needy Streamer Overload or something like that.
I think if you're playing like a streamer simulator, you should just hit the stream button on your computer.
Yeah, just hit go
do
live,
it in real
dude.
life. Yeah. You start managing your own fucking stuff.
If you can manage that.
Yeah.
But
Unless you view yourself as
don't
not the personality, but the brains behind it. I can get that, I guess. But go find somebody then. Manage my streams.
I think you'd have to see the game to grasp what they're going for there. It's more of you're trying to make sure the person doesn't go like crazy or get suicidal and stuff like that. It has some pretty dark themes in it, so
It's a horror game, dude.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Chevy's version of a horror game.
Yeah, the only horror game show will play. All right, let's jump into grades. And I went first with my impressions, so Sarah, grade it.
I'm gonna give it an A-.
Anything else?
Nope,
All right.
it's just a good, solid sim. Does it well. I don't have a lot of complaints about it.
All right. This might sound crazy, but I'm going to give it an A just because it doesn't do anything wrong. I mean, everything just works. This game is for me. It's a game I enjoy. I like it on PC. I like it here. I didn't feel like the controller held me back from enjoying the game. There is some shortcomings for sure that the mouse and keyboard are going to be better for, but not to the point where it felt like unplayable or like I was being held back. The game's completely solid, but again, it's for the person who's going to be in this kind of game. And I'm one of those people. I really enjoyed playing this for the short time I did play it. Because all the games, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Everything works great. It goes above and beyond what I expect from it, and yeah, the only reason I won't give it an A+ is because I'm not in love with it. It's not like the best thing ever. It didn't change my life. I didn't go, holy fuck, that's a masterpiece. But in the sim realm, I mean, it's pretty close to a masterpiece. It's really good. I don't know anybody who's going to be outdoing them anytime soon. And playing on PS5, I still felt that way. So yeah, solid A. Chevy?
yeah, I'm gonna. I can't think of anything I hated about it, so I'll probably also give it an A. I was gonna go A-, but
I sold you.
yeah, I think the biggest thing too is I can't really think of too many things. I'm sure if I played it more, I'd have a stronger thought in this regard, but I can't really think of too many ways they could improve it. So, but yeah, I have a pretty shallow experience of it too, so that's it's a double-edged sword there. For now, I definitely think it's an A game for sure. I could definitely play it anytime, I think. So
There should be a feature. There should be a whole other section of this game where people can play as the people who go to theme parks, and you can load into random people's theme parks and experience it, and give like reviews and stuff like that.
Sabotage.
Yeah, sabotage people's theme parks.
spying on people.
And so somebody's top down, like taking care of the theme park, while like there's NPCs running around doing it, so it's balanced, so people can't destroy your theme park by giving bad reviews, stuff like that. But then like actually have like real people in there walking around, and if they're doing weird stuff, have like security there, or if they're having genuine complaints about something.
Influence the other guests.
Yeah.
So you have one person playing theme park simulator, and you have one person playing theme park goer simulator.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
They
saying.
they have to manage their hunger, their entertainment, their wallet.
Yeah. Yeah, as their entertainment goes down, like fucking maybe there's some negatives, so they should go ride some rides or whatever. But if the rides aren't helping very much, they can be like, hey, this isn't that great, or I'm running out of money quickly here. Yeah. Was this fucking Las Vegas? You guys are fucking me here. You're really fucking me here at the dinosaur pirate theme park.
Game within a game.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Yeah, anyway, something I thought of just because, like you said, what else could they really add to it? I'm sure there's a bunch, but the game's so robust that it does ask that question. Like, I don't know how you improve upon this. You kind of nailed it. And the reason I go so hard on the grade as well is this. I always get kind of trapped in grading this high with certain games. Is if you're kind of like the best in your genre, I feel, and I agree with that. Like, I think your game's also great, and I can't think of games in your genre that aren't as good as you. I'm like, I kind of have to grade you high because you're like the fucking pack leader. Like, you're what other people are striving to be, and I think other people are striving to be this game when it comes to making simulators. So it's a really good one. So, but I mean, we give it 2 A's and A-, so we all agree it's A territory. So yeah, it's a solid game, and it translates well onto console. Anything else you guys want to say on that? All right, well, I got some Elden Ring to play, so let's get the fuck out of here. Let me know in the comments, what you guys think of Planet Coaster Console Edition. Did you like it? Did you not like it? If you didn't play it, why didn't you play it? If you did play it, what did you like about it in the sense of what it offers? Did you like the controller experience? Did you not like it? Do you have some complaints and some pros on that? What'd you make in your theme park? What theme? And do you typically like sim games? If so, what's your favorite? And yeah, let me know what you think about when it comes to this game and all the games we talked about. But that's going to do it for this episode of Plus Club for February. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check out our socials and streams. Links down below. I definitely need to start putting your links down there as well.
Put my links there.
Put your links there. And yeah, we have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support the channel more than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you're brand new. Sarah, thank you for joining me. Chevy, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
And I'm glad I got that. Yeah, we got Game of the Month coming out soon. Elite Dangerous, we're going to play some of that. It's been very hard. We'll talk about it. So come back for that and find out what our next Game of the Month will be as well. But yeah, until then, I've been Seth, and have a good one, and take it easy.